Welcome to Momentum Monday. Howard, where are you located right now?
Phoenix, San Diego tomorrow for the rest of the week, finally. How are you? How was the week?
Good week. We had a good Thanksgiving. How about you?
I was in Toronto, some friend and family stuff, and then made it home a little bit day late, but it was a good weekend. Let's get right to it because the momentum, we'll probably be able to keep it short. There's not much happening. I think we're in, as I've been writing about on my blog, and as you've been writing about, if we do bottom here, that's just going to be fantastic that we bottomed, and there should be some great trades. But the market's trading below their 200-day moving averages. So walk us through where we are.
Yeah. So last week, the Nasdaq 100, which is the QQQ, went below 160, which was its momentum low from October. But that breakdown came with an improved market breadth. So fewer stocks made new lows while with the index.
Yep.
And as you can see, the rest of the week was spent.
Good time to panic too. It was like one of the worst Thanksgiving, so it was a good time to get everybody, including myself, a little nervous.
Yeah, and the rest of the week, including today, was spent in a counter trend rally. And I think there is a good chance that in the next few days we see a continuation of that counter trend rally, maybe up until at least 165. I mean, I'm seeing some positive action in individual stocks, in tech, in biotech. Some Chinese stocks are setting up as well.
So we'll go through those. Okay, so we see us trading below the 200-day, correct? Let's go out to
overall, yes, we are in a downtrend. All major indices, all ETFs are in a downtrend. But there is a potential for a counter trend rally.
Yeah. Let's go to the weekly on the S&P, Ivan. I mean, we should get a counter trend rally. I mean, oof. Yeah, so we basically washed out the gains of the year only. There's really not too much damage other than to our psyche and our patience. So if the worst is behind us, this is seasonally pretty good time of the year. But
but we should not be believing in seasonality, especially in a year.
I'm just saying, seasonally, if we don't get a lot of bad news, they'll jack these prices higher. But again, it's not a reason. I mean, for me, with the markets, the index is trading below their 200 days firmly, and the trend line's rolling over even as we speak. What's the top red line there? Is that the 50-day?
It is the 50-day, yes.
Where's the 200-day? Can we get a clear?
The black one. That's the 200-day.
What are the daily? Yeah, on the indexes, listen, we were pretty stretched below the 200-day. But again, there's so many opportunities when the markets are stronger to get into this position. Right now we're in a weak tape. All right, let's go to some of the stuff that you said is bouncing the strongest.
Yes, I mean, before that, if the S&P 500 loses 260, then the next potential level of support is around 250, 248. That's also a scenario that you have to keep in mind.
Yeah. I think the 220 to 240, if this really stretches out into a longer bear market, is possible. So I'm in no rush. It's been a good run leading up to this correction. And there's been a lot of damage. If we look at Apple, I mean, they could take it down, 120, 150, but you've already given back the year's gains and a lot of 2017's gains. So the stock, we lost the trillion. Stock's really trading below the 200-day moving average. It's stretched. The Supreme Court hearing tomorrow about their 30%. That seems to be on everybody's head all of a sudden. I don't see how charging 30%, for apps. I don't see how they lose that at the Supreme Court in this kind of regulated environment and presidency. So maybe that once once the dust settles one way or the other on that Supreme Court, stock will rally 10%. If it rallies 8 to 10%, the Nasdaq will rally 3 to 4% as well over a few days. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with Apple. But talk about some of the stocks that are working, Ivan.
Yes, definitely. I mean, most of them are on the SO50 list. So Twilio is one that it is very resilient. It's back above its 50-day moving average. It's just holding that $80 earnings gap, and it's just probably one of the strongest tech stocks currently. Another one.
The buzzword. The platform, it relies on text. It's got thousands of distributed customers. They're obviously going to have lots of competition in Amazon and some foreign competitors, but Twilio is one of my favorite companies, and I'm long. Okay, but that's very volatile between 90 and 75 the last month and a half. So it hasn't been for the faint of heart to tradable, but it hasn't really gone anywhere in a month or two over that time, but very tradable. Okay, next.
Another one that I like is FireEye, which is a cybersecurity stock. Also, they gapped up on earnings a few weeks ago, and they managed to hold above their 50-day. And as you can see how they're bouncing here. With the market is barely up, and that's a pretty significant bounce here from the 50-day.
Okay.
What else? XLNX, which is a semiconductor stock, just holding multi-year highs.
So that isn't programmable. We've talked about it for a couple of weeks, but yeah, if chips turn, that's going to lead. There's some bigger underlying fundamentals going on here. The growth is just okay, but it's definitely got earnings.
I mean, as you can see, Nvidia went down 50% from its 52-week highs in just a couple months, and now it's just showing some signs of buyers temporarily
hope. It was one of people's favorite stocks a month ago at high. This is a great example of price leading sentiment. Everybody loved it because of the price. Now everybody hates it because of the price. Those that do the work have an opportunity here to buy it at 2017 prices. Obviously, with crypto and gaming, I don't know why they're gaming, why they would have a problem in gaming. It's just a glut of inventory that obviously came through to them. But I think once technically this gets stronger, I think
it's related to crypto. I mean, that sell-off is related to the sell-off in crypto, but that company has so many other avenues of for revenue that.
Okay, trading at 20 times earnings now. So again, it's not on my radar right now, but it's a stock that may be tradable. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking for a short-term bounce. We're not talking anything longer.
Where are you at personally here, Ivan? Are you like neutral, or are you?
I am bullish for the next few days, for this week, and I have some bullish exposure. I mean, I still have a lot of cash, about 70% cash. Yeah. But in the past few days, I nibbled on some stocks. Last week, I bought some of that XXX long biotech ETF.
Why?
Well, it was setting up. It was the first ETF to go back above first the 5-day moving average, and then form a base there, and now above the 10-day moving average. Okay. And I bought it for a short-term trade. Already sold half for a quick 10% gain.
Where's the XBI? So let's look at the index itself.
The XBI is the index. I mean, it's just what's among the first indices to.
Semiconductors, I heard too, were bottoming a little bit. We're showing some relative, yeah. So again, hopeful. This is first baby steps. These
it all depends on your time frames and how nimble you are.
A trend follower like me is just so much damage. You comfortably wait here until I get clearer signals. But for those that must trade, there is some positive divergences. There is.
Here's one biotech that is just setting up near 52-week highs today. It broke out. Let's see if the breakout follows through, because has been the issue in the past couple months, that just breakout.
CEL. Can you go back on a weekly on that? It's great looking. It's a small cap, really small cap. Yeah, obviously, must have broken out on earnings a month or two ago. Or
yeah, I mean, on a monthly, it doesn't look that great. I mean, but it has some upside potential up until 24, 25, until it potentially meets some resistance here.
And not for me. Keep going.
All right, let me take a quick look at the SL50 list. So we have UBNT, Goose. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this is a Canadian company. The Asians go bananas for Goose in Toronto. I heard they line up at Yorkdale for this store. Ubiquity has been a great
holding amazingly.
It's been a favorite of short sellers, including Citron. I've been scared out of it a couple times. It's off my list. But
Yeah,
great stock.
It's just looking so strong compared to the rest of the market.
It's just had negative press the whole way up, which is fuel for a great company.
So good, also holding very well, holding the earnings gap.
Just high-end clothing company out of Canada. I said the Asians just love it. They line up at the stores. Not for me though. I just don't use the products. And okay, Etsy, yeah, platform's holding in. It's been volatile the last 3-4 months, but holding its gap, its earning gap. So it remains one of my favorite companies. Seasonally should be great Christmas for them in the gift market. Low end, low prices. So I remain long Etsy. Okay, go back to the SL50 list, Ivan. Twilio and Etsy probably still my favorites. The food stocks, so Starbucks holding in there. What else? Crocs doesn't interest me. CME Group is the leading financial index. Mercado Libre made the list. There's a lot of new names on the list. I think as volatility goes, this list will swap around a lot, I guess.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
McDonald's on there. Keep going. Twitter, relatively, Twitter is the social stock that's held up the best. From a valuation perspective in this market, I mean, it's going to have to, it just doesn't excite me. So, okay, let's go back. So it's thin pickings, even though in the SL50, there's just not a lot of great growth names on there right now. Data, Shopify. So a lot of the names have stayed on there. This Exact Sciences is super interesting, EXAS. So as we get older and go for our, what do you call it? For your colonoscopy and you go in for these tests. Exact Sciences has got some really cool products in this space. One where actually, I'm not joking, you poop in a box and you get the results as if you went in for colonoscopy.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago on this story.
So it's kind of, held in well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Very volatile stock, but
ready to go back above its 50-day, which would be really positive for it. Yeah,
I'm tempted on that just because it rings so close to home, but I haven't used the product yet. But I am tempted to try this product out as the country ages, and if biotech's going to lead this in healthcare, this is one that I may just buy a few shares to keep an eye on it. Okay, back to the list. So there are names. I mean, there are names. We just got to get used to looking at different names. It's not the, it's interesting that Tesla's right up there.
Tesla's actually just held pretty good compared to many others.
Company's gotten better and worse press. So, I don't know how to read Tesla. I'm waiting for them to truly become profitable and happy to pay a higher price. But, boy, it's really kind of been a base for the last 3-4 years. Really.
Yeah.
So the next move is going to be a doozy. This next move above 400 or below 250 would be a monster move. So I'll wait. Okay, but it's on our list.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some like defensive names. They're still on the list. They're just holding well.
Yeah, you get the dividend if you're waiting, and if you got to own it, you get the talk of 5G. Yeah, McDonald's I'm long, J&J I'm long, Starbucks I'm not long, but I've got McDonald's as my thing. Lulu's got in earnings this week. I spent some money this week. I'm long the stock.
Yeah, I think it's next week, but yes, the earnings are coming. They're finding some support.
I'm interested. I was tempted to add a little more. If we weren't really in such a horrific market, I'm happy to pay higher prices, but I really feel they really are busy in a mall setting. As much as I hate malls, those are the busy stores. So I don't know. Earnings next week. Okta is another one with big earnings next week. I own a few shares still. And it just got terrorized the last 2 weeks, but quickly recovering above its 50 and 200 day. But earnings are coming out, and that could be a wild one. But it's really a great security play at the enterprise level. And anybody in the enterprise space, young CEOs, this is one stock that we talk about. And as happens, it's volatile. But if we look at a weekly, this stock has just been a home run. Very little competition in the public market in this sector. And I think at some point, this is going to be a security leader. As employees get logged out of a company, as employees move around and quit and get fired, this is a way for Okta's a solution that allows enterprise companies to have quickly take people out of the enterprise. When an employee has to leave, one log out gets them out of all the products. So pretty interesting company, and you can see that the company's not making money. So again, this will be a lot will depend on the next 3 or 4 earnings calls here. So it could be volatile. So those are the two that I'm watching: Lulu and Okta. But again, I'm just watching. I'm catching up on other work. I think this is not a great environment for trend people. The momentum.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it will be important to see how the Chinese stocks react this week. There are some expectations that something will happen on the G20 meeting, which,
okay.
I mean, I don't think those stocks are going to run on rumors anymore because
well, they're so big. So you need fundamentals. I mean, they're the size of countries, so you need true fundamentals. So trying to find a bottom, which would be great for just the regular tech stocks in general. Tencent, Alibaba, same thing with Tencent. It's just been hammered. But again, trying to find a bottom back.
Yeah, it's back above its 50-day.
Fortnite, Tencent Gaming, but again, this is not an unknown company with WeChat and WePay. So bought the dips in the low 40s, and it's going to need time. But that was if we are nearing a bottom in China, and there's some good news coming. I mean, that was a serious 45-50% pullback. Forgetting how great the stock has been in the past, that is a real bear market that these things have gone through. So it would not be surprising to me to see, a stronger market for these Chinese stocks. But again, we'll see. Below 30, all bets are off, and the bear market continues on Tencent. Okay, we'll end it there. There's not too much to do, but there is some. If you use the SL50, there is some stocks worth keeping an eye on, and we are not in a full-blown bear market. It's just been a bear market in Chinese tech and FANG stocks right now.
Yeah, I mean, there is a potential for a bear market for the US market. We're not there yet, but no reason to be super aggressive on the long side. If you're active, you need to be really nimble and be ready to take profits quickly, because this market can turn on a dime, as we saw in the past few days. Every day we're seeing a gap, like gap up or gap down, and in a pretty significant gaps, 1-2%. So it's not really that easy to trade. It's not for everyone, for sure.
Yep. Okay, buddy. Have a good week.
You too, Howard.